When it comes to Okinawa ghost stories, often the first one you hear about is the abandoned haunted hotel in Kitanakagusuku. It's often credited as one of the most haunted places, not just in Okinawa, but in all of Japan. But what happened there? Why is it so haunted? I mean, the hotel never even opened. Can it really have that much of a history? There are so many mysteries behind this hotel, I wanted to get to the bottom of it. The Nakagusuku Hotel was a giant abandoned building that was built literally right behind Nakagusuku Castle. I say was because after sitting abandoned for nearly 50 years, they finally, just recently, ended demolishment of it by March 2020. It all started when a rich businessman from Naha, Okinawa's capital city, wanted to take advantage of the beautiful location on top of the mountain right behind the castle. And from the top of this mountain, you have a 360 view. You could see oceans on both sides. You could see the Pacific Ocean as well as the East China Sea. It was a seemingly perfect location. And he thought since the 1975 Okinawa Ocean Expo was coming up, he could capitalize on the influx of tourism that was surely going to come to the island. This hotel was going to be pretty extravagant too. He was going to build a nightclub, a water park, as well as a zoo. The main hotel building was 5 stories, and he also built 17 cottages just scattered around the area that other guests would be able to stay in. The total building area was around 11,000 square meters, which is about 118,000 square feet. Before he started construction though, the locals warned him not to build a hotel there. You see, the jungly area where the hotel was supposed to be built was home to countless tombs. And they warned him that if he built the hotel there, it would be haunted by many restless spirits. Even a Buddhist monk told him that that land was sacred and he shouldn't build anything there. But of course, the rich businessman didn't listen, and he began constructing the hotel in the early 1970s. Amongst the workers though, word spread that they were building on sacred land, and there was tons of tombs in the area. And because of this, many of the workers decided to quit the project. Of the workers that stayed though, unexplained accidents started happening on the construction site. People were unexplainably getting hurt, and some were even killed. Over time, many of the other construction workers started to quit, and construction on the hotel started to slow down. They started to miss deadlines, and because of this, the rich businessman was getting frustrated. So in an attempt to prove to his workers that the land wasn't cursed, he vowed to stay in the hotel every night until construction was complete. After 3 days though, the businessman went insane. Some say he ended up committing suicide, and others just believe that he got institutionalized and that he's still on the island in that institution to this day. Alright, so now that I told you the creepy legend version of this story, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the more realistic version and probably the more accurate one. In the early 1970s, a rich businessman wanted to capitalize on the surge of tourists that were gonna come for the 1975 Okinawa Ocean Expo. And how he wanted to do this was to build a beautiful resort hotel right behind Nakagusuku Castle on top of a hill. That much is true. This successful businessman's name was Hajime Takara. He was also a successful politician in Okinawa. You see, Takara was entrusted to manage Nakagusuku Park while Okinawa was under US control. And since he was in charge, he decided he was going to build a hotel right behind the castle. Now, one important note to understand that in the 1970s in Japan, they were going through one of the biggest economic booms they had ever seen. During those years, money was being thrown around wildly on all different sorts of projects, which ended up resulting in Japan having tons of abandoned buildings from the 70s to the 80s. This is still true today. In 1975, construction began to stall on the hotel because his contractor ran out of money. There were also many other difficulties that he had to overcome when building this hotel. You see, the only way to get to this hotel was by taking the same road that led you to the castle, which happened to be protected land because it was deemed as cultural property. Because of this, it was extremely difficult for him to do any sort of construction to the road. On top of all this, control of Nakagusuku Park was given back to the city of Kitanakagusuku. So, with all those things, the once going to be great Nakagusuku Hotel was to sit abandoned for the next 50 years, to be taken over by the harsh nature of the Okinawan elements. From what I found on the rich businessman, Hajime Takara, he didn't go crazy and he didn't commit suicide. He actually died just from being old in 1994. He lived until 87 years old and had a long and very eventful life. For the years that hotel sat abandoned, however, it was a huge draw for urban explorers and ghost hunters all over the world. And even though the true story is not as creepy or as exciting, people have reported hearing and even seeing some strange things while they explore the hotel ruins. After all, that land really is deemed sacred, and there are tombs all over that area. So what do you believe? And what kind of mysteries have you heard about this place? And if you're one of the lucky ones that got to explore this abandoned hotel before they knocked it down, share with me your experiences down below, because I'd love to hear just some creepy things, or if you didn't see anything, love to hear what you have to say. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I will see you in the next video.